We are a traumatized people, and we have been given very little relief and time to actually heal from these traumas. What we have actually is compound trauma over several generations that has been unresolved. We've had absolutely no help, no assistance from any of the other nations' people. We have literally been going through genocidal tactics and maneuvers and actions that were put forth against us since time immemorial. For generations, you guys. Let's go ahead and we can just stick within the 400-year time period of our captivity. We've had very little relief from these traumas. Now, when it comes to these generational traumas and this talk in particular, this can go on for several parts actually, because there's a lot to cover, a lot to unpack. But what kind of traumas am I talking about, you guys? I'm talking about traumas that are intergenetic. Because you do know, or maybe we don't, it's been talked about before, and there have been other people that cover this topic, how you can have intergenerational traumas. Not only the ones that are formed from habits that are passed down, but actually in your nervous system, there could be intergenerational neuro traumas, you guys. What kind of trauma am I talking about? The trauma of actually having a child ripped out of your arm and sold on an auction block to a plantation owner that is going to take that child God knows where, and you will never be able to see that child again, and probably wouldn't even recognize them once you were to be reunited with them in adulthood. That's only one thing. I'm not talking about the endless beatings until, a person's back is split open and you can actually see exposure of flesh. I'm not talking about those kinds of things. We haven't even gotten onto that. We're just talking about simply the trauma of having your family split up and sold and shipped to different plantations, sometimes taken off of the mainland of the Western Hemisphere into the islands, and probably even further south to places like Brazil, never to see the person again, switching several hands. Now this is, you guys, it is human trafficking. And is it human trafficking a crime? Yes, it is. It's a crime against humanity that has been carried on and perpetuated over several generations, you guys. As I've stated before, and I re-emphasize, that we have been suffering from these intergenerational traumas and have had absolutely no relief. Why? Because there was a genocidal plan that was intently and specifically directed at a certain specific group of people, you guys. And we have not had any relief from that, okay? And I say we because I'm a part of those people. I am a descendant of those people that had to suffer that and still do suffer it in many regards, especially in places further east. And I'll just be very general in my explanation of that. Far east, meaning over the Atlantic, crossing the Atlantic into the eastern lands, if you will. Okay, not Middle East. I'm not saying Middle East because Middle East is a political term that it's a politically fictitious term. You guys, just let's put that down. But over in the Orient, there are people that are still being traded, literally. I'm not talking about this figuratively. There's people that are still being traded and auctioned off as slaves. Okay? So, knowing that, we've got to understand the psychological damage that can do to a people, especially when they have not had time to actually heal from those trespasses against their nation. There is a sister whose name in particular comes to mind, and her name is Dr. Joy DeGruy. She actually covers this topic in great detail. What I'm doing is just explaining in a general sense as to the effects, the after effects that generational trauma can have, especially the trauma of being a slave, a captive, prisoner of war, so on and so forth. And also, after having been betrayed by literally every nation of people that saw us in this condition and saw for it to do absolutely nothing to help. So with all of that being said, my people who are Israelites, the 12 tribes, Give yourselves a little grace and give yourselves some actual time and be patient and loving with one another, because we have suffered a great deal throughout the generations, especially at the hands of our captives, the colonizers. And mind you, it is not only the Edomite that has been perpetrating these things against us. Literally been every nation of people on the face of the earth. And this is biblical, and I can provide biblical sources and support for this. However, this here is a message for the family. It is time for us to get a powwow, gather ourselves together, and heal one with the other. Of course, we don't all speak Portuguese or Spanish. However, if this message were to ever reach my brothers and sisters in Brazil, please spread the message, spread the love, show some care and concern for one another there in that part of the earth, at least until your man gets there. You know what I'm saying? So, in an effort to keep this here video entry short, I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with at least 10 people that you know, you guys. And remember, family, Israel, it is time to heal wherever you may be. Whether you're over there in the Arabitine lands, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, whether you're further east in places like China, whether you're in South Asia, in India, Afghanistan, wherever you may be, Israel, it's time to heal. Whether you're in the Philippines, our people are everywhere, and there's an identifying marker that identifies them as distinct from anyone else in these areas, okay? This message is for you with much love, much patience, care. Thank you. Gotta go. Talk to y'all later. Love you. Shalom.